to apologize, first of all, that I have to run. I had a previous engagement to speak before a group of teachers in New Jersey. And so I'm going to be racing. I'm glad to be meeting with them, but it just means I'm short on time here, and I'm really thankful to the organizers for letting me speak right now. I actually want to go back to what Brother G2 was saying about the struggle 68 for community control, because there's another side to the story that's important to point out. And that is, and by the way, my name is Brian Jones. I'm a teacher. I taught for 8 years in Harlem, and I'm currently teaching in Brooklyn, 4th grade. The other side of the story was the role of the teachers union at that time, which has to be discussed. Because unfortunately, my union, the United Federation of Teachers at that time, decided to go on strike against that movement that G2 was speaking about. The section of the black community was trying to have more control over their local schools. Now, there's some of us in the union today who believe that that was an historic fork in the road, that was a tragic decision, that decision had tragic consequences. Crucially, that it reinforced the division between the teachers and the community. Rather than building solidarity, it reinforced antagonism. And that meant that later on, when the city wanted to run down and destroy public services, and at the same time wanted to attack teachers and do layoffs and all that kind of thing, instead of these groups being able to come together, they were divided, and it was easier to attack both groups. Well, I'm not an official spokesperson for this group, but I do want to mention that there is a new group in our union that has formed. It's called MORE, the Movement of Rank and File Educators. And I don't think that they will mind me mentioning here to you, again, not in any official capacity, but just as a member of this caucus in the union, that we have officially decided to put in our mission statement the need for a People's Board of Education. And again, I'm not speaking in an official capacity, but unofficially, I think you should know that the general sense in this caucus is that we must never again allow ourselves as a union to be put in that position. Operating with such hostility, am I right? And so, what we're trying to figure out is how can we build a movement as educators and as teacher unionists that rather than working against the communities that we're serving, how can we work with them, especially when it comes to this question of struggling in governance? They asked me to say something about connecting the dots. Well, let me try to build on what Sam Anderson was saying. How does the question of governance come in? Perhaps one way to look at it is this. He says, we cannot give up on protest. I agree. But let's go a step further. Let's recognize that every protest in and of itself is in embryo a question of governance. They say the school should be closed. We say it should stay open. Aren't we in effect saying that we should decide? Are we in effect saying that you are over and over again making the wrong decisions that are hostile to our interests? I think what we need to say to people is look at how they are again and again making decisions that are hostile to our interests. And if you have come here to protest, aren't you in effect saying that you could make a better decision than they could? And then should you be in governance if you could make better decisions? So the question of governance is pervasive. It's a question, I thought about this when we were at a panel for educational puppetry meeting. And there were armed guards walking up and down the hallways to keep us in line. Why do you have to have a meeting about how we're going to run the schools with armed thugs walking up and down the hallways? Bloomberg went to speak at a school where a friend of mine teaches recently. They had to clear out the school. They had to clear out the areas around where the mayor was going to be. No kids could get anywhere near. No teachers could. How do you have somebody who's supposed to be in charge of the schools who can't show up at school? Who can't be anywhere near students? Can't be anywhere near teachers? The extent of the hostility between those who are actually making decisions about the schools and those of us who are living, working, experiencing, going through this system is become very extreme. And perhaps by their extremity, we might say that Bloomberg and them, they might be the greatest organizers of our struggle ever. By having put us all in the same boat, maybe we can finally figure out that we are all in the same boat, and we can unite together to fight them. So thank you again very much. I'm sorry that I will have to dash early on, but I'm heartened by your struggle, very solidarity with you. Thank you.